What's up, everybody? If you guys haven't seen the news or didn't see the announcement, it was announced a couple days ago on the 3rd of April that ESPN will be covering Rocket League on ESPN 2. If you guys don't know what's happening on this Sunday, so today, for those that are watching this video at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, there will be the Season 8 Grand Finals being re-aired on ESPN 2. Not sure if it's going to be the full best of 7 or if it's just going to be highlights and major moments or however Psyonix is producing that. I assume what Psyonix is going to do is they're going to send a pre-made package, a pre-made video. They say, air this on your channel, and then ESPN plays it based upon a certain time frame. For those that have never really figured out how that stuff works, basically when a program is made for television, they allocate X amount of time for commercials and everything else so they can hit their billables. And then the remaining time is split into certain times based upon where they want to put that in. So figure you have an hour on air. What they're going to do is say, okay, 27 minutes of that is commercials. You're going to put breaks here, 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 and here, because each commercials are, this set of commercials is 3 minutes. This set of commercials is 5 minutes. This one's a longer one. This one's a shorter one. How do you want to do this? So it's like, okay, after game 1, we'll do a long commercial. After game 2, we'll do a short commercial. After game 5, we'll do a really long one, and they'll kind of mix and match, and then one at the start and one at the end. So that is basically what I assume is going to happen. Is Psyonix already has this highlighted and compressed down to a more digestible format that'll be good for television. So excited to see that. If you guys do have national or live television that you can watch this on, I highly recommend supporting it, because the more you support this, the more it's going to benefit in the future for stuff like the Spring Series and getting maybe even the RLCS Season 10 as a regular thing shown on ESPN. So it's not just Rocket League that is actually the ones that are being covered. Rocket League is going to be one of many games that is aired on the 5th of April. It's a 12-hour broadcast that's going to be on ESPN, which they're calling their eSports Day, which will be aired on ESPN 2. The nice thing, though, is there's only 2 games that end up being non-simulation game. And what I mean by a simulation game, your Maddens, your FIFAs, your NBA 2K, stuff like that, that is a majority of the block, but Rocket League and Apex Legends actually are the 2 games that are not. Apex Legends is actually how I got in contact with ESPN, and I ended up messaging and talking to one of their producers about how this all came to be, so I'll have some insight on that later on in the video. But in Minneapolis X Games of last year, Apex had a tournament that was going on that ESPN went and covered. And that's actually how I met a lot of people. People with the agency that I'm a part of were working it, and it's close enough to me to where I drove up with a couple buddies to actually go and support and see what it was all about. Someone at EA gave us guest passes. We get to go and hang out and just kind of see what the scene was all about. And I ended up meeting ESPN contacts there, which is what has allowed me to do the interviews and kind of get ESPN's interest into the Rocket League scene a little bit earlier than they had planned. So I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But the games that they're covering are actually Madden NFL Classic, basically a bunch of Madden NFL 20 stuff, F1, Rocket League, which is at 4:30. They talk about how it's going to, basically what it is, and then it talks about that it's going to be energy versus vitality in front of Spain, in front of thousands. It's the best of series you don't want to miss, blah, 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 basically promotional stuff. But it's going to be re-showing the Season 8 World Championships in Madrid, Spain. They've got NBA 2K, and then it ends with the Pro-Am for Apex Legends. So that one will probably do, hopefully, relatively well. It's at a really good time. I think this is a really good time slot as well, as somewhere the kind of that middle of the afternoon. The Apex Legends Pro-Am, meaning that there is professionals as well as amateurs or your celebrities like Dylan Francis and stuff like that, should help as well. The other thing that was also shown is on Reddit where this discussion went down. Scheist, one of the people that work on the eSports team, if you guys don't know Scheist, he used to be part of Rival Series as well in the community. But they're going to be broadcasting the Spring Series NA Finals on ESPN2 as well. So if you guys haven't seen my video on the Spring Series, go check that out. I put that out, I'm pretty sure, on Thursday. But it'll have all the details. Otherwise, at the end of the video, it'll link to it. But the Spring Series NA Finals will be on ESPN2. Not sure why they're only doing NA. Don't know why they're doing EU as well. I know it's a different week. So at least something's getting covered. But that is fantastic. It's actually amazing that they're moving forward and doing some other stuff. Things that I called last week's video. So big brain plays from Lawler. Also, last but not least, kind of talking about how this all came to be. So back at the X Games in Minneapolis, I ended up meeting one of the producers for ESPN and ESPN eSports and got to talking and eventually convinced them to say, like, hey, Beyond the Summit, and this is kind of that time period, Beyond the Summit is a good idea to introduce your audience into this. let's do that. Talking to the producer and what he says it's something that they've been looking to do for a long time, and our interaction between yourself and myself really opened the door. And what he means by that is because I started to do the interviews with them, it convinced his higher ups to basically put more coverage on Rocket League, and is essentially what has led to what we're getting now, which is Madrid World Championship Grand Finals being shown and Spring Series connections. So even though Sonics may have been pushing it, the fact that we were able to do those interviews and the interactions that he and I had are what pushed his higher ups to be like, yes, we should cover Rocket League. Let's go ahead with this. So the only things he had to say is obviously he can't speak too much on the behalf of them, but he is saying that hoping this is the beginning of a lot more Rocket League hitting ESPN linear and digital platforms. So really awesome. I can speak from my experience. Working with them has been a godsend. They provide information early and often. They give me a heads up about certain things that they want to do or what they want to accomplish. They keep me keyed in on their decisions and what they want to do. So I can't speak highly enough about the ESPN team and what they're doing. I know they're going to do this community proud, and we should all give them 100% backing, because not only are they fucking ESPN, but really, really stellar people to work with. I've been treated nothing but fantastic from top to bottom. So I hope to keep that relationship healthy, and I hope they continue to keep pushing Rocket League, and by us watching and tuning in and viewing is going to help that. So I beg you guys, make sure you please do go and support it in any way possible, as it does help out not only myself, ESPN, but also what Rocket League could lead to in the future. So here's to the first steps, but that's all I got for you guys. Any questions, comments, concerns, drop them down below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, turn on notifications, or any things that you guys would like me to answer, things I may or may not be able to, that will determine if I reply. So with that, appreciate you guys all tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Peace.